Last time we discussed how the brutal world of the Pokémon Manga shaped its series' main protagonist, Red, into a battle-hardened warrior able to fight to the death against major planetary threats like the evil Elite Four or Deoxys. However, for every action, there must be a reaction, and for every Red, there must be a Blue. Everyone remembers the world's youngest Pokémon League champion, but even more unforgettable was the trainer who got there first. If the Pokémon Adventures manga transformed Red into an unstoppable war god, what would a world like this do to the only rival Red has and might ever know? Blue, also known as Green in the Japanese version, is the grandson of Professor Oak and an 11-year-old trainer from Pallet Town that begins his journey around the same time as his rival of the same age. However, right away, the differences between Blue and Red are astounding, as for a large portion of the story, Blue almost always seems to be just 1 or 2 steps ahead of Red at all times. In the very first chapter of the series, unlike Red, who charges into battle with a wild Mew blindly and gets humbled for it, within mere seconds of beginning a fight with Mew, Blue immediately pieces together that this Pokemon is way too strong and recalls his Charmander before it gets hurt, because remember, death is always present. This high level of battle intelligence is something that allows Blue to easily score Pewter City's gym badge from Brock within weeks of his Pokemon journey beginning, overcoming the Rock Gym Leader's type advantage with his Charmeleon on his first try. Or Blue can even fool higher level gym leaders like Koga on multiple occasions, such as in the two's first battle when Koga is directing his Arbok to lethally attack both Blue and Red remotely from outside the building. Blue is able to quickly deduce Arbok's trainer must be giving it commands from outside, having his Charmeleon cast Reflect that makes Koga believe his Arbok successfully caught Blue's Pokemon with an acid attack, giving Blue the perfect opportunity to slice Koga's Arbok in half, taking absolutely no prisoners. Blue's lack of mercy, as well as his battle confidence, originates from early childhood training in the Johto region with Cianwood City's fighting-type gym leader, Chuck, learning from an extremely young age that for a Pokemon trainer to be successful, they must train themselves just as much as they do their Pokemon, understanding that a trainer who does not involve themselves in battle will never make it far in this world. Blue was aggressively trained in hand-to-hand combat, learned how to use melee weapons proficiently, and most of all, learned to trust his own instincts just as much as Blue did his Pokemon's. Blue's heightened perception can be seen as early as the first couple of chapters, closing his eyes and sensing motions in the air around him, telling his Pokemon when and where to strike without even seeing. And not only is Blue extremely aware of his surroundings at all times, he has a deep knowledge about different types of Pokemon species, making him a resourceful fighter against any kind of opponent regardless of their behavior. Such as when a group of Mankey are stalking him in yellow, he instantly pieces together it's because the pack is hungry, and once they pounce, Blue correctly fends them off by separating the Mankey from their primate leader, weakening the Pokemon's formation and defeating the pack. This strategic mindset also allows Blue to team up with his Pokemon without any words being spoken, such as when Blue completely blindsides a wild Lapras, all while riding over the sea with his Golduck, lowering its defense with Tail Whip, and when the Lapras hides behind Icy Mist, Blue stops and waits patiently for the Lapras to make its move, flinging himself high into the air with his Golduck's Hydro Pump. While Blue distracts the Lapras, his Golduck takes the time to charge up and fire a Hyper Beam from the gem on its forehead, simultaneously launching both high-level moves at the same time and knocking Lapras out from underneath the water. This video is sponsored by GamerSupps, the ultimate energy and focus formula. Like most of you, I get tired right around 3 p.m. and after a long day's work, when I want to kick back and play some video games, I can just never find the energy. But to be honest, before they even approached me to be a sponsor, I used GamerSupps to fix that issue. GamerSupps is an awesome drink made up of a bunch of vitamins like vitamin C, vitamin D3, B6, B12, and vitamin H. All super good for you and your health. So it's not one of those awful sugar-filled concoctions that's gonna make you crash after drinking it. And it's got caffeine and things like nootropics to help you stay focused, stay energized, and in the game. Listen, I could never stand energy drinks myself, and coffee, to me personally, tastes like sewer water. But Gamersups has so many awesome flavors and some really funny and cool designs. Personally, I've been drinking BBLGG lately, really good, tasty blueberry flavor, but I also enjoy some JFJ snake oil for that apple cider taste. Use the link in the description or pinned comment and use code NOOP for 10% off your next order of Gamersups. If you're still skeptical about it, go check out the link and use my code anyway. They are more than willing to send you some free samples and give you a chance to try their product for free. Use my code NOOP now for 10% off, and thank you Gamersups for sponsoring the channel. As a Pokemon trainer, the only people that were ever able to match Blue fair and square has always only been Red. Even in Red and Blue's final battle at the end of the Indigo League, Oak's grandson maintains a pretty heavy lead against the underdog for most of the round, making Red believe Blue would fall for such foolish tactics like Red Snorlax secretly using Harden, hoping that Blue's Machamp would karate chop it at full power and incapacitate one of its arms. But it turns out Blue was just playing along, actually aiming Machamp's attack just before Snorlax on the ground in front of him and launching the giant Pokemon into the air. Blue also uses his Ninetales Fire Blast against Red's Poliwrath to completely surround the two of them in a surge of flames, making the heat in the arena rise and sending multiple of Red's Pokemon into the air to knock them out. And even in the final moment when Blue's Charizard does get trapped by Venusaur's Vine Whip, getting hit by the triple combination attack between all of Red's remaining Pokemon, Blue and his starter Pokemon are actually able to endure the attack for a decent amount of time, just collapsing right before Blue was named the winner of the match. This one and only L against Red is a great display of Blue's tenacity and durability, including the multiple other insane feats that Blue has across the series, such as surviving his own Rhydon being slammed into him at full force due to Chuck's Hitmonlee's reversal, or getting struck by a Hunter's Lick in the eyes, resulting in Blue being blinded by paralyzation, yet he still manages to fight and dodge Agatha's Golbat attacks. But what's impressive about Blue isn't just the fact that he's survived lethal injuries from legendary bird Pokemon who control entire islands, or that he shrugged off being speared out of the sky by Pokemon like Deoxys who threatened to destroy an entire planet. It's that Blue is usually almost always able to take these critical moments and turn them into aura farming opportunities. Born from Blue's ability to remain completely calm under any level of pressure, Blue proves this lesson to a younger child he's mentoring by taking on an entire horde of Magneton, all using Sonic Boom at once just with his Machamp, staying cool against the terrible looking odds and commanding his Machamp to stay focused, literally with focus energy, having his Machamp direct all of its strength into one single point on its body, striking a loose screw that was acting as a weak point. Another example is Blue's second battle with Koga, where he is getting suffocated by the Poison Gym Leader's muck, and as Koga is taking his time to taunt Blue, he tells the child that if Blue doesn't make his grandpa Oak cooperate with Team Rocket, he's going to make Blue watch as Koga kills Oak right before him. Blue says he would rather die than let Koga get his way, willingly taking his Golbat's Razor Leaf to the heart, dumbfounding the gym leader that a child would willingly sacrifice his own life like that. Plot twist, once Red shows up to help against Koga, it's revealed that all of this was one clever trick, Blue faking his unconscious state and apparently making use of a reflective pendant that he always wears around his neck, outsmarting Koga for the second time, and forcing the gym leader to call upon his legendary bird Pokemon, Articuno, to freeze Red and Blue solid. But little did Koga know, Blue had already instructed his Charizard to sneak out of a hole in the building, igniting the entire building on fire, setting Koga's Articuno up for failure before it even joined the battle. The now thawed out Blue able to finish Koga off while his guard is down with a team attack between his Porygon and Red's Pikachu. Blue proves in this match he's more than willing to risk his life if it means fighting for what he believes, even when he's up against extremely more powerful foes like Agatha of the Elite Four. When first meeting Agatha at the power plant, once the Elite Four member finds out Blue is the grandson of Professor Oak, she immediately turns on him and has her Gengar attack Blue with Hypnosis and Dream Eater directly, planning on having the Pokemon steal all all of Blue's life force and kill him while he's trapped in slumber. Yet somehow, despite being lost in a dream world, Blue's Golduck telepathically transfers Blue's thoughts into his Pokédex, allowing the young boy that Blue was with to understand his plan and begin to attack Agatha's Gengar with his Haunter, disrupting the Dream Eater long enough for Blue's Scyther to break him out of his trance. And at first, Agatha thinks this is all for naught, a physical attacking Pokemon like Scyther being useless against ghost Pokemon like Gengar or Haunter because they're primarily composed of gas. But Blue thinks back to his training with Chuck, knowing that by understanding the true essence of a Pokemon, he can relay his thoughts and feelings to his Scyther through sheer will alone. Combining his heightened perception to sense exactly where Agatha's ghost's cores are, he can relay that information to Scyther telepathically, allowing the Pokemon to slice through even Pokemon with shapeless forms. This level of bond between a trainer and their Pokemon is something only achievable by a master. However, what Manga Blue is most famous for is being willing to continue fighting in his second battle against Agatha even after the trainer has no Pokemon left. And when I say that, I literally mean Blue was throwing actual hands with Agatha's Gengar, just barely dodging all of the Pokemon's attacks, who was using its special ability to poke in and out of Blue's shadow to catch the child off guard. However, thanks to his unlikely battle partner, the reformed gym leader Koga, the two trainers are able to produce a win condition by flooding the area with Koga's coughing smokescreen, giving Blue the upper hand against Gengar with his extra sensory, and tricking the ghost Pokemon into attacking a decoy while it was unable to see, opening itself up to a counterattack from Blue's Porygon. The craziest thing about Blue is how he's a serious threat even without any Pokemon being involved at first, but I don't think the trainer would ever let the spotlight be taken away from his companions either. Even Blue agrees that the trust he's built between him and his Pokemon is the most important factor to his success. And just to give you an idea, even while Blue is away from home or in other regions, he's able to only leave a hologram behind and have his 6 Pokemon run the gym at 100% capacity while he's absent, responding to trainer challenges and upholding the gym's tough reputation despite none of the Pokemon receiving a single command or strategy from their owner, proving that, at least when it comes to training, Blue might actually surpass Red in that department, something that can be seen in any Pokemon Blue invests his time into, whether they've only been with him for a short while or they've been by his side since the beginning. Scizor is Blue's very first Pokemon that has been by his side since his early childhood training with Chuck in Johto, his most loyal partner. Even as a Scyther, the bug Pokemon was capable of cleaving flaming boulders to pieces the exact same instant it was released from its Pokeball. And by the Fire Red and Leaf Green volumes, Blue's Scizor is perceptive enough to detect the mythical Pokemon Deoxys, despite its invisibility, even being able to stop the speeding anomaly with its pincers and land a slicing attack. And thanks to Blue's training, Scizor is just as willing to play offense or defense as it is to play a supportive role, not hesitating to create team attacks with Blue's other core team members like Machamp. Speaking of one of Blue's main damage dealers, Machamp is perfectly reliable when it comes to handling other Pokemon powerhouses, and even showing its superiority by lifting up all of Snorlax's weight and spinning the massive Pokemon around like a plate. However, Machamp also has plenty of versatility in battle, and isn't just Blue's source of muscle, as besides the focus energy feat from earlier, Machamp is also shown to launch hyper beams from its mouth in order to fight from long range as well. Blue's official starter Pokemon was Charizard, and similar to Red's Venusaur, it's one of Blue's most trustworthy allies on and off the battlefield, helping Blue perform some of his best feats across the manga, and being Blue's guaranteed choice whenever the trainer is against a legendary Pokemon. Or even very late into the series, after Blue is long grown into an adult, Charizard is helping Blue participate in the battle against Team Flare in the X and Y volumes, showing the power to Mega Evolve into Mega Charizard Y. Combining this experience with the ultimate fire-type move, Blast Burn, Charizard solidifies itself as one of Blue's most powerful Pokemon well into his trainer career. There's also Blue's Golduck, who wins the award of being one of Blue's most well-rounded Pokemon. Golduck's psychic abilities have also been trained to such a level, the Pokemon is even able to use its confusion ability to visualize all of Saffron City, searching through the entire town to find one specific Pokemon and transmit that mental image to Blue's Pokédex. Golduck is much more than support though, effortlessly easily outspeeding Pokemon like Lapras and surviving lethal attacks from Red's Gyarados. And even after Golduck's attack was reduced by Gyarados' Intimidate, the Pokemon was still strong enough to damage both Gyarados and Snorlax heavily with an Iron Tail attack. A lot of Blue's other party slots tend to change depending on the region or situation he finds himself in, but some of Blue's other core Pokemon include Rhydon, one of the rampaging Pokemon Blue caught outside of the Viridian City gym and was able to train up to a high enough level to defeat his mentor Chuck by the time of the Gym Leader tournament. Blue took a special interest in Rhydon after becoming the Viridian City gym leader, studying the special diary left behind by the former gym leader entitled Mysteries of the Earth. Blue successfully bonds with Rhydon in the matter of a couple days, and by Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Blue lent Rhydon to Silver, and the trade resulted in Rhydon evolving into Rhyperior, displaying its growth by creating massive craters in the ground with little to no effort at all, or knocking back legendary Pokemon of the highest caliber, such as the threat to the entire universe, Giratina, Lord of the Distortion World. Blue's Porygon is a Pokemon that he won from the Celadon Game Corner, originally giving the young trainer an issue because it wouldn't listen to him at all. However, by the time Blue, Red, and Green are launching their assault against Team Rocket in Saffron City, Blue seems to have tamed the digital Pokemon, using its Tri-Beam attack to finish off Gym Leader Koga, and since then, Porygon has remained a reliable staple for Blue's teams. What makes Porygon so instrumental is its ability to hack into other computer systems and machinery, having displayed the power to transport its physical data through one Pokédex to the other, coming out the other side and catching a wild primate off guard with its one-shot Tri-Attack. It has since evolved into a Porygon 2 and is still a viable enough option to be used against a Pokémon Master like Red. Last but not least, there's Blue's Pidgeot, his signature flying-type Pokemon that's used to transport Blue through the skies, and Blue's Ninetales, the fire-type Blue used to try and force Red into using his Gyarados. We also know Blue has his Alakazam, Exeggutor, Arcanine, and more, as Blue's Pokédex shows at least 126 total completed entries. But I think you get the point by now. Just like with Red, if I was to go over every individual feat and trainer battle Blue's had, we'd be looking at like a 2 to 3 hour long video. Instead, I suggest you pick up the Pokémon Adventures manga for yourself and read it to see all the other cool stuff you might miss. If you did enjoy this video though, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. There's still plenty of badass trainers left to talk about from the manga, so let me know down in the comments who you'd like to hear about next. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.